Doris, I figured you might be able to.
Good evening. I'd like to call the February 10th, 2025 Borough Council meeting order. Will the clerk please read the open public meeting statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, specifying the time, date, and location by posting a copy of the notice on the municipal building, municipal website, providing a copy of the annual notice scheduled to the official newspapers of the borough, and is on file in the clerk's office.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Here.
Councilman Collins.
Here.
Councilman Manco.
Here.
Councilwoman Payne.
Here.
Councilman Poznanski.
Here.
Councilman Potter.
Here.
Mayor Murray.
Present.
Borough Attorney Peter Vignola.
Present.
Borough Engineer Mike McClellan.
Here.
Borough Engineer Lou Plaskanka.
Here.
Borough Administrator Frederick Carr.
Here.
Borough Clerk Monica Orlando here.
Will everyone please stand for a moment of silence, which will be followed by a salute. So I have a proclamation for National Heart Month. Whereas February is American Heart Month, a time when all people are encouraged to focus on their cardiovascular health. And whereas heart disease is a very common and leading cause in death of men, women, and people of most racial and ethnic groups, one person dies every 33 seconds from cardiovascular disease. In the United States, someone has a heart attack every 40 seconds. And whereas 1 in 20 adults aged 20 and older have coronary artery disease, and every year over 8,000 people in the United States have heart attacks. And whereas about 1 out of every 5 deaths from cardiovascular disease was among adults that were younger than 65 years old, and 1 in 5 heart attacks are silent. The damage is done, but the person is not aware of it. And whereas February is National Heart Health Month, whereas the American Heart Association is committed to changing the future of health together by promoting healthy eating and fitness, and thus preventing heart disease throughout the public and professional education about the risk factors. And therefore, let it be resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex County, State of New Jersey, in recognition of the importance of ongoing efforts to prevent heart disease, we do hereby declare February 2025 as National Heart Health Month, and urge all citizens in Milltown to show their support by preventing heart disease by learning more about their heart health, eating healthy diet, and maintaining an active lifestyle. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused the official seal on the Borough of Milltown to be affixed this 10th day of February 2025. Now is the time for public comment limited to the resolutions on the agenda only. If you wish to speak, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Again, this is the public portion is limited to the comments only listed on the resolutions on the agenda at this time. There will be a 5-minute time limit as set forth by the rules of council. If someone raises their hand, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I will close public comments. The minutes for the December 9th, 2024 executive session are on the agenda for approval. Are there any comments or corrections? Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as typed?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Council President Zambrana. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Abstain.
Abstention.
Any abstained? Thank you, sorry. Ordinance public hearing, second reading. The following ordinance was introduced on January 21st, 2025, and published in accordance with the law. Any member of the public wishes to comment on this ordinance, they may do so after the reading. Will the clerk please read ordinance 24-1555 by title?
Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 48:4-45.14.
May I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 24-1555?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion made by Council President Zambrana, seconded by Councilman Potter. I will now open a public hearing on ordinance 24-1555. Please state your name and address for the record. These comments are limited to this ordinance only. I will close public comments. May I have, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilwoman Payne.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Authorizing payments of municipal obligations. Next on the agenda, we have authorizing payments of municipal obligations. Will the clerk please read resolution 2020-2592 by title?
Authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $3,365,386.05.
You have heard the reading of this resolution. Are there any questions?
Yes, I have a few. I'd like to go to the bill list. Page 4. I've seen it before, but I'm going to ask. The COA, Community Grants Planning, can somebody please explain that to me? It's 1425, home improvement.
Sir, could you repeat that? I didn't catch any of that at all.
Community Grants Planning.
Yes, sir. Home improvements
Yes.
program, right?
Excuse me?
They're the firm that the borough utilizes to meet the co-obligation for housing rehabilitations in the borough.
Well, I understand that. How does it come to be that we are responsible? That's why I'm asking, because I've seen it, I've never asked before, but I'm asking now.
Sure. So we have a co-obligation, we have rehabilitation program. We pay for this out of the borough's current funds because we don't have a fund dedicated for COA.
So this would be, say, a person's home that he's
Correct.
renting out?
No,
And we're
that
paying
did-
for repairs on this person's home?
Homeowners.
Right.
Homeowners.
Why, but I'm asking why we are responsible.
Because you're obligated under the affordable housing regulations.
So
you
they
have-
meet-
you have
they
a
meet-
rehab obligation, plus you have a new construction obligation, and your rehab obligation is what this program's for. So each municipality has to have a rehab obligation so that people who meet certain income restrictions can have certain improvements done to their house. So that's what this is part of.
And there are very strict guidelines to meet those low to moderate income guidelines,
Okay,
to meet this program. Yes, sir.
okay. Labor costs, labor attorney, 813450. Rothstein, can you tell me why the figure is at that height, 8134?
What page is that, sir?
Okay. Should have written down the page. Page 15.
Page 15, thank you. Thank you.
General labor. My question is just why it's 813450. I mean, it's,
So that's the former Labor Council
Right.
from last year. That's their final bill for December of last year.
is part of that part of the, is it the investigation? that
No,
you-
sir, that's a different labor, that's a different council and a different part of the bill list. Yes,
Well,
sir.
I understand it's a different council, but was she not involved
Yes.
in
she-
reviewing that?
She was part of that, she met with council, if you remember, on the 9th during the closed session meetings, spoke to council.
Okay.
And of course, closed up the investigation. Yes, sir.
That's the last one, right?
Yes, that's the final bill for December.
Thank you.
Is that, just for my future reference, is that a tremendous amount for a 1-month bill from a labor attorney, or what does that work into as an average for the year? Some months will be up, some months will be down. Is that,
Some months are higher than lower. I mean, in our January labor bills were considerably higher. Then they sort of went down and then they go up.
okay, is
So-
that the highest one from the year, you think?
I'd have to, if you'd like to have that, we can give you that data, but I don't have that
No worries.
right here with them.
Just wanted to get an idea, so I can-
Okay. I see another one from Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri Jacobs. Was that also the investigation?
Yes, sir, that is the investigation and that is the final bill.
Okay. Did he give you a definition of what he's billing us for? Because he's not done that, I believe. Has he?
Sir, it's in the bill list. It's attached to the attorneys or the engineers. They provide their summation attached to the purchase orders.
The reason I ask is because his work was done around 3 months ago. Do you know why he's still billing? I understand he's involved. Do you know why he's still billing us?
So his investigation, but the final report, which was provided to the labor attorney and to the council through the labor attorney, is that final billing. He just catching up.
All right. One last one. Suppley Clooney, $6,125 for this month. How much longer will they be here? And is it up to them or is it up to us how long they stay?
It's up to you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, they come in like once a week. They still do the reconciliations of the bank statements. We have like 19 bank statements, as you know, at Provident Bank, plus a number of other ones. They still come in and oversee the bill list about once a week to help the preparation of the bill list. But they're winding down, as you could probably tell from the bill list. They're much lower than in former months.
Well, it's lower, but to me, it's still pretty steep. Are the women pretty much caught up there? I know
Except in the
they're- I know
pension,
they're
except,
good there.
well, we still have, we have an employee in payroll who's only been there for 3 months, is doing the payroll and the pension portion of that, which is labor intensive and extremely difficult.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Council President Zambrana. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilwoman Payne.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
A consent resolution has been prepared for the resolutions listed on the agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and having been reviewed by Borough Council will be enacted on in one motion. Any items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter. Any items requiring expenditures are supported by certification of funds. Any member of the council wants any resolution acted upon individually, please give me the resolution number and it will be pulled from the consent resolution.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, 2025-108.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, 2025-94 and 2025-96.
I've got 94, 96, and 108.
Okay, will the clerk please read the consent agenda resolution excluding 94, 96, and 108, please?
Whereas pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meeting upon certain conditions, and whereas each of the following resolutions to be presented before the Borough Council at its February 10th, 2025 meeting appear to have the unanimous approval of all the members of Borough Council, 2025-95, 2025-97 through 2025-107, and then 2025-109 and 2025-110. Now therefore be resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown that each of the above listed resolutions be approved and adopted by the Borough Council with the same legal effect as though each were read in its entirety at the February 10th, 2025 meeting and adopted by separate vote.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion? Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Collins, seconded by Council President Zambrana. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilwoman Payne.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read Resolution 2025-094 by title?
2025-94, authorizing return of unused escrow funds, Block 76, lots 19 through 23, Christopher Street, Planning Board 03-2023.
What's the pleasure of council?
Make the motion this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Council President Zambrana. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just want to question Peter. We're refunding this person. Does that mean all the litigation is done with Christopher Street?
I don't think there was any litigation, Councilman Collins. I think this was a land use application that was withdrawn.
So
If memory serves me correctly.
there's nothing on the table right now, right? So if we wanted to pursue this for Green Acres, we could go ahead and do so?
Well, at this point, I mean, when you say pursue for Green Acres, this was an application to develop a particular piece of property. Are you speaking to that property, or are you speaking to Christopher Street, the?
Christopher Street altogether.
Okay, you would need to, as indicated previously, the council would need to decide it wanted to vacate Christopher Street and then acquire Christopher Street for open space.
We talked about this at the Environmental Commission, that's why I was bringing it up.
Understood. It's just, that would be the process, and you would need to get appraisals, and there's, I mean, I can provide you with a roadmap for what you would need to do, but
Okay.
it's a, you know, it's a process.
Yeah, I'll take the roadmap for you when you
Okay,
have time.
I'll
Thanks,
give me
Peter.
a little time.
Just so we're clear, this isn't just one owner, right? There's multiple owners here.
Well,
If you
what
wanted
would
the Green Acres, what would you do? John, you want to buy each parcel?
Yeah, whatever is
That's why I'm
there,
asking this
it's on a hill, so they can't develop it, so you might as well
Yeah.
preserve it.
This is where I guess I need to speak with Councilman Collins, because my understanding is there was a question over vacating Christopher Street and acquiring what was Christopher Street, which would be a portion of property that most likely reverts to the property owners on either side of the street. So, so it would be, you know, an involved process.
To say the least.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Seeing no further discussion, may I have a motion and a second, please?
We have a motion and a second.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilwoman Payne.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read Resolution 2025-96, please?
Authorizing sale of surplus borough property by use of online auction pursuant to NJSA 48:12-13.
What's the pleasure of council?
Make the motion that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, seconded by Councilman Collins. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Monica, are we using deals for this? Or
Municipid is who we use.
What's that?
Municipid. That's who we used for the last 2 or 3 auctions we've done since I've been here.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if we could use them for some of the equipment in that garage that's sitting out there and some of those trailers. What's that, municipal?
Municipid. You can sell any government property on it. I reached out to the police chief and to John Facone, our mechanic, to see what vehicles we could put out for auction, and this is what they got back to me.
Right, right. And this says as is, so we could sell it, we're selling it as is and we're no responsibility.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks, Monica.
You're welcome.
Seeing no further discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Manco.
Aye.
Councilwoman Payne.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read Resolution 2025-108, please?
Granting permission to the Lions Club Annual Easter Egg Hunt, Albert Avenue Park, and waiving fees for same.
What's the pleasure of council?
for the
So moved.
resolution to be adopted? Second?
Motion made by Councilwoman Payne, seconded by Councilman Collins. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the reason why I pulled this resolution is because I'm an active member of the Lions Club. I do support this event. I've also contacted Kim McGrath, and there is no conflict having it on this day, but since I'm a member of the Lions Club, I have to abstain. And I believe Councilman Poznanski, you should probably do the same. You're also a member of the Lions Club.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana?
Aye.
Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Manco?
Aye.
Councilwoman Payne?
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski?
Aye.
Councilman Potter?
Abstain.
All right. Reports from elected officials. Council President Zambrana.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a short report tonight. Met with our HRC committee last Tuesday on the 4th for their reorganization meeting, electing or appointing a chair, and happy to say that went smoothly, and that everyone that was a member last year returned this year. We will be meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. via Zoom for the reorganization meeting for the revitalization committee meeting. Anyone can attend from the public. I would go, the easiest way to go is to go to the calendar, go to tomorrow's date, click on the link, and you'll be led into the meeting. We kicked off budget discussions last week for the 2025 budget with our Borough Administrator, Mr. Carr, and with our CFO, Mr. Zenga, and also met with utilities, DPW, and the Recreation Department. So it's a first pass. We're looking to have additional meetings this week and next week with DPW, the Senior Center, Tax and Collection, and the Clerk's Office. And we all agreed that the 2025 budget will be introduced at the second meeting in March, and it will be adopted at the second meeting in April. And that's all that I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Collins.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Got a lot of material to cover. The environmental meeting, Mike Zakarian was elected chair, Barbara Wright vice chair. All meetings are on Zoom, so we're looking for new members. That's the most important part. And maybe, Russ, we could put that on the website, that we're looking for members for the Environmental Commission. You're shaking your head. I don't know which way it's going.
The website's me, John.
What's that?
The website is me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Monica. And we talked about Christopher Street and Schwindeman Cabin, and the next meeting will be February 26th, 2025. And we also have the blood drive here we had from the Board of Health. The blood drive will be tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the municipal building here. If anyone would like to donate blood. We had the Board of Health meeting, and we need to update our licensing fees for the late food vendor licenses. Apparently, some of the vendors in town are not doing timely with their food license. So, what are we going to make it? $100, Monica, for the?
I'm looking at the surrounding towns and what they charge, and I'm going to give you guys kind of a spreadsheet, and then you can make your recommendation to council, and hopefully we can do a fee ordinance.
Thanks, Monica. And I have the library report, the agenda for the library events. Drop in play on Tuesday, 2/11, 10:30 a.m. Beetlejuice movie and craft after school, February 11th, Tuesday. The library board of trustees meeting at 6:30 p.m. on 2/11, 6:30, open to the public. The Grapes of Wrath movie on Wednesday, 2/12 at 2 p.m. Craft Corner Valentine card after school on Thursday, 2/13. Crochet for beginners on Saturday, 2:15 at 11 a.m. Read to the Pooch at 12:30 p.m. Drop-in craft on Tuesday, 2/18 at 11 a.m. and craft at 3 p.m. Stagecoach movie on Wednesday, 2/19 at 2 p.m. After school Jeopardy Thursday on February 20th. Seed Library event on Saturday, February 22nd at 11 a.m. Adult yoga on February 24th at 9 a.m. Please register. Writing Club at 11 a.m. Love Your Library Bingo on Monday, February 24th. The library will be closed on Monday, February 17th. The library staff wishes everyone a happy Valentine's Day. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Manco?
Regarding the electric utility, council report for the February. A call for flickering lights was investigated. The utility department assisted with installation and removal of the holiday lights. Some dead trees were removed on First Street. Calls for partial power were investigated and restored throughout the month, the last couple of weeks. 3 street lights have been replaced with LED fixtures. A broken ground wire on a pole was repaired. Calls for low-hanging wires were answered. Department members have begun wiring a portable building for the DPW. The department is involved with planning a new service for the storage facility on Riders Lane. The department is working also with New Jersey Turnpike for a service replacement. Line clearance was performed at several locations to keep branches away from the overhead wiring, and the borough's diesel generators were tested. Several billing issues were resolved with meter-related work orders, and the department received a new pickup truck to replace a 20-year-old truck. Back-ordered pole transformers were received. Now, additional to that, the meters, I believe their first installs happened today. It seems that with no occurrence, all the scheduled meter installations for today went through. No news is, nothing's been reported from anyone in town saying anything good or bad, which silence is golden, I think, when it comes to work in a home. So that is certainly good to know. Regarding some other matters, a failed water clamp was repaired on JFK Drive, and there were water main breaks on Hill Street, Lauders Lane, Clay Street, and First Street. So far this month, the fire hydrant was repaired on 29 Southbrook Drive as well. I believe that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Haynes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Safety Committee, which consists of myself and Councilman Potter and Poznansky, we met at during the last week of January with each of our Public Safety Committee members. That's the rescue squad, the chief of police, as well as the fire folks. And, I just want to say that my takeaway from those meetings were that, our people are doing amazing work, and they're to be commended. And so with that, the police report. Between January 1st and January 31st of this year, the police responded to 1,170 calls for service. During this time, the police conducted 91 radar details in numerous locations. Police made 392 motor vehicle stops during this period, and they investigated 15 motor vehicle accidents. 10 arrests were made, 1 for DWI, 7 for shoplifting, and 1 arrest for aggravated assault, and 1 arrest for active warrants. There was a commendation for one of our police employees, the crossing guard, Suzanne Guevara, and she was given a letter of commendation, so congratulations to her, after residents had contacted residents contacted police administration and reported her amazing efforts. So thank you to Ms. Guevara. A reminder on solicitor permits. As of February 3rd, there are currently no individuals who have been issued solicitor permits by the Borough of Milltown through the Police Department. It is important to note that companies cannot obtain solicitor permits, only individuals. Each solicitor must pay a fee and go through a criminal background check to obtain a borough-issued solicitor permit. And in bold, it says, when in doubt, call us out, call the police, and do not become the victim of a scam. I actually did make a call because I had someone come to my door to solicit, and I called the police department, the non-emergency number, and probably 3 minutes later, there was a police vehicle came on my street, and they were immediately responsive. Just a reminder on residential security, the police are always willing to help. And last but certainly not least, in terms of announcements, parking during snowstorms. So once again, just to remind our residents that there are parking rules, municipal parking rules and responsibilities that we all share to ensure a safe and smooth winter. So I won't go through all and repeat all of the parking guidelines, but I think based on the weather reports, right, we're going to experience some more snow this week. So just a friendly reminder on the parking and to follow the parking rules so that, you know, our DPW folks can do their job. And in conclusion, and again, an important reminder, community involvement is critical to maintaining a secure environment in our town, and the police always are encouraging to all of you to report any suspicious persons, vehicles, incidents, and the non-emergency number, of course, as you know, is 732-828-1100, and of course, always dial 911 for an emergency. Again, I think that this is an important message in bold in my report. For accurate and reliable information, please contact the police directly. Do not, in capitals, underlined, in bold, do not rely on social media, as the information shared there can often be incorrect or misleading. So that's my police report. My fire report. To date, the total number of incidents are 28. Of course, it's the beginning of the year, so that's the year-to-date number of incidents, and month-to-date man-hours, man-woman hours maybe, 503.9. There were several notable fire calls, one on Clay Street, another on Bernard Road, and another one for South River Fire Department standby. So our fire folks were extremely busy during the month of January. General information. On January 20th, the fire department, that was the response on the Bernhard fire. All crews came home safely, and damage to the property was kept to a minimum. The fire department also responded with the rescue squad for several turnpike calls, and they also did a joint training at the firehouse with the rescue squad for swift water awareness, which I am learning so much about all these trainings, swift water awareness. And this class is being funded by OEM as part of a new operation for severe storms that affect Milltown. The fire department, as always, is looking for membership. Members are needed, and candidates interested in joining the Milltown Fire Department are encouraged to stop by the firehouse Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Or email joinmilltownfire@gmail.com. And finally, my report from the rescue squad. For January 2025, the total calls were 108, split between Milltown with the majority of those calls, and the Turnpike, the rescue squad, rehab, and mutual aid. The squad, again, like the fire department, is always looking for new talent to join their ranks. They're accepting applications for spring onboarding. The presentation that Dave and I attended by the rescue squad was this magnificent PowerPoint, and the work that they do is just amazing, and I learned a lot. Applications to join the fire squad for April 2025 need to be submitted by March 31st to make all the timing for EMT training and those things. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Posanski.
Sure. I only have a DPW report, no senior report, but I'm going to start here. In my DPW report, I'd like to speak about the 5 water main breaks, 4 of which I visited, some multiple times. I stayed out on Riders Lane for almost 3 hours on the 22nd of January in 14-degree weather. Speaking to Ian and John, who are they're wonderful at what they do. I call them the water main heroes, and our fine Milltown Police Department. I stayed out because I figured if they can be out there in 14-degree weather, so can I. I'd like to shine a light on those that are out in the worst weather: the DPW, plowing, salting, shoveling, fixing water main breaks, and the police, keeping them safe. They work through the night when you, Milltown, are comfortably sleeping. I'd also like to bring up I had a chance to meet with our CFO, Joe Zenga, and the electric supervisor in South River to view the electric battery packs that we are considering using here in Milltown. Being that the electric rates are expected to rise steeply, the battery packs make sense to enhance our system. I know that the council is aware of our situation. We will be doing everything we can to keep our citizens' energy rates as economical as we are able. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Potter?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. From the Milltown Recreation Department, don't miss out on getting tickets for Milltown Night with the New Jersey Devils. The game is on Monday, March 24th. Please visit Community Pass to obtain tickets. The deadline for purchasing tickets will be on Saturday, March 1st. Registration for youth soccer clinics is still open. This 4-week session will be held at Parkview School from March 6th to March 27th. Please visit Community Pass to register. The Fresh Theater Arts Program began on February 4th, and we're so happy with the high registration numbers. The children will present their final showcase of High School Musical on Tuesday, March 25th at Joyce Kilmer School. We're thrilled to share the new chess program at the Senior Center, which began today and received a fantastic response. Youth basketball started on January 25th. The kids are enjoying themselves tremendously while learning from our gifted coaches. On Monday, February 17th, the Recreation Department will begin accepting seasonal employment applications for the Milltown Borough Pool and Albert Avenue Summer Rec Camp. Please note that there will be no applications available in person at the Recreation Department. All applications must be submitted electronically to the Recreation Department at kimmcgrath@milltownborough.com. All applications are due on April 1st. Spring registration for our adult and youth programs will be opening soon. And finally, as spring approaches, don't forget to get in touch with the Rec Department to secure your date for hosting a party at one of our borough parks. From the Planning Board, our meeting on February 5th was canceled, and our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 5th. And for the Milltown 4th of July organization, please join us as we'll be having a Dine to Donate at DuSal's in Milltown on Wednesday, February 26th, and Thursday, February 27th. A percentage of the proceeds received for these 2 days will go towards this year's 4th of July event. And mark your calendars, the annual Celebrity Bartender event is happening on Saturday, March 22nd at the American Legion. Tickets will be available for purchase at the following locations: Bagel Express, Mike's Country Market, Maria's, Milltown Convenience, Kelly & Company Hair Design, and Rescued by Lacey. For more information about our events, please be sure to visit our website, milltown4thofjuly.com, and also on Facebook and Instagram. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Borough Attorney Peter Vignola.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Borough Engineer Sumi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2 items to report tonight. The first is the water meter replacement project has commenced today. They have visited 10 homes, which we understand they completed today, and they will continue to work towards addressing the other ones that are currently scheduled, which, as of last week, was about 438 homes. We also understand they'll be reaching out to provide training to everyone on the installation portal that they set up for the project. Second item is on the Foch Avenue improvements. We are scheduling field survey work this week. Unfortunately, the weather looks like it's going to impede us, but we're going to get it done as quickly as we can. Once the base mapping is done, we will schedule a meeting with committee to go over the scope of the project. That's all we have tonight.
Thank you. Business Administrator Fred Carr.
Sir, I have nothing.
Thank you. Borough Clerk Monica Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for their patience with the clerk's office. As you know, Mary, my deputy, resigned and her position hasn't been filled. I've been working alone and I've been out sick with the flu, so I know many of you came to renew your dog licenses and I was not in, and I apologize for the inconvenience. In the month of January, we processed 253 dog licenses. As a reminder, dog licenses were due for renewal by January 31st. A $5 late fee will now be charged for any dog licenses that are renewed going forward, with an additional $5 each month. Tomorrow, February 11th, as Councilman Collins said, we are hosting a blood drive here at Borough Hall. The hours are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. here in council chambers. Walk-ins are accepted. Let's see, what else do I have? The clerk's office will be closed this Friday, February 14th. Borough Hall is closed on Monday, February 17th in observance of President's Day. Lastly, Resolution 2025-110 was accepting my resignation as Borough Clerk. I want to take a moment to thank all the residents and wonderful volunteers in our town that welcomed me with open arms from day one. Milltown truly has a piece of my heart. My resignation was not an easy decision. Thank you to all my fabulous poll workers who made election days a breeze with their hard work and professionalism. Thank you to the Milltown Police Department, Chief Johnson. You have a wonderful group of officers and dispatchers that I will miss working with. Milltown Fire, Milltown Rescue Squad, thank you for all you do. Thank you to Beth, Vidya, Alexa, Marie for all your hard work with Oprah requests. I know that they're a pain. Thank you to Kim and Lauren in Recreation for always being willing to lend a hand to my understaffed office. Stephanie in Finance, thank you for always being ready to learn something new, jump in and work with me to keep things running smoothly every day. Charlie, thank you for a friendly face in chat every morning. Deb Cuddy in the Senior Center, thank you for always being willing to jump in and help as well. Library staff, Charlie and Debbie, thank you. And to everybody over at DPW for coming over and moving my furniture or hanging something up for me basically every other week because I always change my mind. My last day in the office will be Tuesday, February 18th. If you have any clerk-related business, please make it a point to come to my office before then. I will be in all day that day as well, and I will miss you all. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Does any member of council have any old business to bring before council?
Yes. May I speak? Okay. Some may not appreciate what I'm going to say here, so be it. I'd like to speak about the injustice in local government trying to find resolution for problems that affect our borough residents. I'm very disappointed by those able to thwart the best intentions of those elected to represent voters and the citizens' interests and concerns. I'm referring to the administrative state, unelected bureaucrats, and the judicial system. We have had residents come to us for help regarding abuses at St. Paul's Church. Time and again, the aggrieved parties have pled with counsel for help. Once the issue was delivered to the judicial system, there has been no justice for the helpless residents. Elected representation versus unelected bureaucracy. The state wins, the people lose, and I will speak out on unequal justice. The same also goes for the owners of Ford Avenue. They owe the Milltown citizens over $6 million in tax money. They have ownership of a contaminated site, asbestos, and other toxins. And if needed, I will supply the documents to back up my statements. The litigation has been ongoing for 24 years with no end in sight. The disgraceful blight will continue on. The judicial system is helping some while endlessly hurting those that see plummeting property values and possible health issues from the poisons in and around the 23-acre site. We each here are elected separately for our own hopes, goals, or dreams for our beloved Milltown. I am accountable and answerable to the voters, the citizens. I'm also accountable to our volunteers and employees, not to a party or a person. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I got one. Peter, where did the battery pack, Mike's working on that. Do we own the property on that, or do we have to acquire it?
I think part of the process right now, Councilman Collins, is figuring out where that can go. So there's,
We don't own the property.
Excuse me?
So we don't own the property.
Well, it's whether or not you can fit it on your current substation site. So it may be capable of being placed there. If it can't be placed there, then you may need to figure out where else it can go. And I think that's initially what Mr. McClellan's firm is going to be doing.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Vignola, that's exactly right.
Thanks, Mike.
Seeing no further comments, I'd like to close old business. Any new business? Does any member of council have any new business to bring before council?
Yes, I do. I'm going to start with, I'd like to ask, I know this has been brought up already, but I'd like to ask respectfully Council President Zambrano to create a subcommittee with 2 or 3 council members to look into the viability, feasibility, or improvements to the Schwindeman property and report back at the next meeting. Being a realist, I will state here that we do not have access to extraordinary funds. As of now, not even a buffer. Our borough is not flush with cash. Individuals and groups could do well by sharpening their grant writing skills. I'd also like to bring up the firehouses. I think it's about time to consider looking into the sale of one or both firehouse. We need to move forward, as status quo only takes us backwards, kicking the can down the road. Let's be innovative and do something positive for the citizens in Milltown. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I got one thing. Anybody else have anything? I'd like to see that we can reintroduce the fireman's clothing stipend that was eliminated a couple years ago and see if we have money in the budget for that. I don't know how anybody feels, but
The what?
fireman's clothing stipend. I was here before you. Sorry, Monica.
Okay, I have two items. I'm glad you brought that up, Councilman Poznanski. I actually reached out to Attorney Vignolo to create two resolutions, one for the firehouses and one for the Schwindeman Homestead property. If you could give an update to that, Mr. Vignolo? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Drafts of those resolutions have been prepared, and I believe they've been looked over by the mayor. The mayor or I can forward those in advance of next meeting, and certainly the council then has the ability to consider whether it wishes to create a subcommittee for one or both of those items.
Thank you. Peter, Mr. Vignolo, sorry, can you send that out tomorrow, please?
I can, George, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anything else? I would like to close new business.
We still have something under new business on the agenda.
Proposed rule change.
Proposed rule change.
Okay, proposed change of rules of council, and nobody brought it up.
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Okay?
So talk about it, or don't.
Yeah.
So, do we need to take a vote here, or do we need to explain?
It's not a vote, you just need to,
Acknowledge that someone wants to make a change to the rules of council.
I would like to make a change to the rules in council. The details are in the proposed changes, what the council changes were, what the council rules were before, and what way they will be after it is first introduced and then adopted at the next meeting.
so a resolution will be placed on next meeting's agenda.
24th,
I'm sorry?
24th, right?
The 24th, yes.
24th, yeah.
And that's it. Notice has been given.
Okay, open to the public. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to council's attention their concerns or comments. Council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comments until the speaker has finished. It should be further noted that this public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. Please state your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. Just a reminder that under the rules of council, individuals wishing to speak during the public input part of our meeting shall be limited to 5 minutes. You may, after other speakers have finished, be allowed to speak for a second 5-minute period.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Keith Cook, 219 Northbrook Drive, Milltown. I just wanted to comment on Resolution 2025-110. Ms. Orlando, wanted to thank you on behalf of those in town. You've been a great ambassador, a leader, and somebody that, whether we were coming in for dog licenses or needed help on our committees, you were always there, and we wish you all the best on whatever's next.
Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mark Kuiper. I live at 4 Gralick Drive. My wife and I moved here in April of 1990 from Jersey City, and we lived on Riva Avenue for about 12 years and then moved to Gralick in 2002. We greatly value the serenity and peacefulness of the town. And in fact, my wife started a business on Main Street by that name, Serenity. So it is with great difficulty that I am here to notify you about my neighbor, Denise Kralik, who lives at 6 Gralick. The first two things is her in-ground swimming pool over the last 5 years has deteriorated to the point where the walls are crumbling. All kinds of vegetation has found its way there. The water is long leaked out. And about 2-3 years back, a nest of brown rats was discovered in there. And that prompted me to call the Department of Health and complain, as the rats had also, found their way into my yard. My concern, of course, is, property value. There are 3 other homes that border her property, and the pool is without a cover, and it just gets worse every year. That's the first thing. The second thing is Denise is running an unpermitted Airbnb out of her home, and this has prompted more congestion on Gralick Drive throughout the month. Sometimes as many as 6 and 7 short-term renters on Gralick a week. And that has, again, contributed to her, I suppose, just anger at other people taking what she thinks are parking spots for her renters. And this has led to some problems between me and her, and between her and specifically my daughter, who I would like to come up. My wife also would like to address the council about what's going on, but specifically my daughter has something to say about what's been going on as well. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Stephanie Harris Kuiper, wife to Mark Kuiper, mother to Marnie Treadway Harris Kuiper. As Mark alluded to already, we have lived peacefully in Milltown. I believe we have been upstanding citizens to the point that I wanted to have my own private practice in psychotherapy right on Main Street, and it is Serenity Mental Health Services. So I'm very proud of that to add to our community. What has been going on in the cul-de-sac in terms of, I'm very concerned about the transient people that are coming and going, to the point I don't feel safe. I don't even walk in our cul-de-sac at night because I don't know who's coming, who's going. In one weekend, we can have at least up to six different cars coming and going from New Jersey to Colorado to Massachusetts, et cetera, et cetera. And the noise is also an issue for us when some of these, I guess you would call them Airbnb renters, have their parties late at night or are up wee hours in the morning. And I understand, trust me, I'm dual licensed therapist, that cannabis is legal, but I don't like smelling cannabis all evening when they're having their parties. That is another issue. I don't know what Milltown can do about that in terms of an ordinance, but we also have young children that we have as family members come visit. So that is a concern. I'm very aware of what cannabis can do to someone that's inhaling it, even if it's secondary cannabis. So that is my concern in terms of my safety. And I have been peaceful. I have not said anything. I have never disturbed anyone in our cul-de-sac or Milltown as a whole. While my children were attending Joyce Kilmer, I think I was a very active parent and did as much as I could to contribute to our community, which I have loved and felt safe since before COVID. Things have changed in our cul-de-sac in Milltown, and I find it very disturbing. The other part I could talk to you about in safety, where I don't walk in our own cul-de-sac, especially at evening, I have forbidden my daughter, since she will tell you her experience, how I will not allow her to even walk our dogs anymore at night. Lastly, I want to talk about how our neighbor, given whatever her issues are, I understand there is an ordinance to Milltown in terms of dogs and barking, and I adhere to that. Because of what is going on with this neighbor, if you want to call her a neighbor, I have my doubts about that right now, we'll call the police, and I time our dogs outside. We have 4 dogs, 3 Chihuahuas. So that's huge barking for a Chihuahua. Yeah, they're very yappy. They don't have big barks. So that is a disturbance. as recent as last week, our dogs were not outside for more than 5 minutes. Again, I have a timer, and it was not 10 o'clock at night, and the police came. So there was a disturbance to me that the police came bogusly. It was bogus. So this has been an ongoing thing. And I'd like my daughter to now come and tell you her experience with how verbal assault has started, not just the fear of transient people coming in and out on the cul-de-sac, moving in and out of our neighborhood. It has escalated to verbal assault. And I am, one, concerned about physical assault. I do not trust our neighbors, if you want to call them that. So, Marnie, I'd like you to come up.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Has the zoning officer been to your house, and has he been a help?
Excuse me?
Has the zoning officer been to your house? Has he been a help?
Mark can speak to that, yes.
So I spoke to Marty, he came over. He did not at the time, he was responding to a complaint by Denise at 6 Gralick, which was unfounded. But I sent him an email last week, and he called me and said that she was receiving a letter about the swimming pool. Now, what was in that letter, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I saw pictures of the pool.
Yes, okay.
If someone will be around, if it's possible tomorrow, I'd like to take a look if it's possible. If you're not there, we can make another time.
It's not our pool.
No, I know, but I'd like to see what.
Yeah, Councilman Poznanski, I would say, why don't we let Mr. O'Neill in the short term handle it if he's already begun a process?
Well, the pool is a major issue. This isn't new. My spouse didn't just do this last week. We have gone to the New Jersey Department of Health about this after not receiving significant communication or any
Right.
progress from Milltown.
Well, that's why I'm asking about the pool, because I saw what it looks like. It's falling apart, and I'm sure there's some kind of zoning ordinance in regards to that, and that's why I'm asking if the zoning officer has been a help to you.
I would say no. I'm going to be quite
Okay.
honest and
Okay.
transparent. No.
Okay.
This has been going on.
Okay.
To be honest with you, we have had an outing in our yard, and my daughter said, "Oh, there's some rats walking by." It's been that bad.
Sure. Well, that's why Mr. Vignola.
And when they're talking about mice, we're talking about
Sure.
nice-sized rats.
I will talk to Marty and see if he's got something ongoing.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
And Maureen,
It's important to hear from our daughter, too.
very important.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say hi to Council President Zambrana. I went to school with your daughter. It's really nice to see you. I see you sometimes when I'm driving, but of course, I'm sure you don't see me, but it is nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you since I was like
Exactly.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be brief and concise. I honestly don't really know where me personally, I got involved in the drama with my parents and, my parents and our neighbors. We've been there, I've been in Milltown forever, and I believe, Melanie and my brother were even friends at one point and went to JK together. I would remember Alan, my brother, be in the garage hanging out with Melanie. So it's so strange to see her, me as a grown woman now, almost 30, and her behaving this way. But the very first incident, I think, happened in the summer or so, definitely a couple months ago. I used to have a Jeep. I usually park my Jeep across the street just because it's a little more convenient for me just to leave and not, do a K-turn, just more easier for me. But I think for whatever reason, they have so much disdain with me parking across the street, which is totally, I can do that. But I think because of me parking across the street, it ignited something in them. But I came home one night, was walking across the street into our driveway, and both of them called me a cunt 3 times. They said, cunt, cunt, cunt. And I didn't say anything. I actually acted like they weren't there, like they were ghosts. But I have done nothing for this. I don't talk to them. So that was the first occasion, and I think their anger was maybe, like they were projecting their anger onto me. And then the second occasion happened very shortly after, maybe a couple weeks afterwards. They drove by, and I think Melanie's blue Subaru, and they just gave me the finger, both of them. And it was, again, I was coming home, walking across the street, and that happened. So now you can imagine every time I walk outside, it's just natural for me to just look over at their house just to see if they're there, just out of fear, like anxiety. It's anxiety ridden. And my mom's right. I wouldn't even walk down the cul-de-sac even if she didn't force me not to. I don't walk down the cul-de-sac because it's just out of anxiety and nervousness of passing your neighbor. So yeah, I used to feel safe, now I don't, and it's very clear, I do have to mention this, it's very clear that we are not the typical Milltown family, I suppose. I mean, we are a biracial family, so just imagine the things that they say to my face, just imagine what they're saying in their house behind our back. So I would just appreciate anything that you want to do to help us. You know, I went to JK, class of 2011. You probably know Mrs. Gerhardt. I remember my gym teacher. I remember everybody so fondly, you know, so I just appreciate you hearing me, and I thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Roger Bartholomew. I live at 43 Ackerman Avenue. I came to the council a little more than a year ago, but then we had a change of council, some of the members, and Trina ran out of time for what I had originally proposed. So to briefly rehash it, my late father-in-law was Dr. John Van de Putte. He was mayor. He was on council from 57, 58, and then he was mayor until the end of 67. And he always had his heart buried deeply in this town. He did whatever he could for it. Early on, he was a co-founder of the Little League, and he coached one of the Lions Club team. And as a member of the Lions Club, I believe he was president for quite a while, and during that time, according to some newspaper articles I came across, the Lions Club set aside some money for about 10 years to work on the conversion of the old mud hole into the first official borough pool, and that was done in 1958. And according to an article I came across recently, the project to convert the mud hole was somewhere a little over $40,000, and the Lions contributed over $10,000 to that project. And finally, when he was mayor, early on in the game, some of the members of the council at that time had looked into selling our electric utility to public service. They would have gotten a couple $1,000,000 for it, and, well, we know where that money probably would have gone pretty quickly, been dispersed. So he got into a little bit of a tiff with them, and he said, look, we're able to buy the power in bulk and sell it to the people cheaper than they can get it from public service. It employs people in town, and I said, for God's sakes, it makes money for the town. And right now, I think that is an even more important issue than it was back then. But what I proposed was, I'm not looking for a street to be named after him or park. What I would like to do is have a plaque placed somewhere on the new electric substation. And I think the mayor has a copy, or Dave has a copy of a proposed plaque. And I would like to see something like that put there in his memory and his honor as a former mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Bartholomew. I actually, Mayor and Council, I actually asked Mr. Bartholomew to come and speak to us because, you know, he had proposed this, and I felt it would be more, you know, through his passion for his father-in-law to come and speak to us. So with that, I mean, if we decide to go forward with it, would it have to be a resolution to move forward with a plaque? on the substation?
I mean, I guess you could adopt a resolution to allow a plaque to be placed. You have to figure out where you want it. You have to figure out, I think we can talk about it offline if you'd like.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Seeing no further comments, I'll close public comment portion. Council comments. Is there anybody from council that has any thing that they'd like to bring up at this time?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Sure. So, just a couple quick things to mention. I did have I met with some of the DPW guys, and it was good to understand what they do, what their future plans are for, and what was kind of started. Just last year I heard people say, ask questions like, what has been done to try and make our water, our utilities more efficient? And we are replacing fire hydrants in-house now that used to cost us a substantial amount of money when they were done by subcontractors. And that's all about the people we've hired and some of the equipment that they have. They certainly could use more, and that would help with the town and with some of the water main breaks, some of the other things. Just interesting, the things I'm finding out. I do know everything that happens on Riders Lane. Apparently there's a section that was not replaced that runs from Blueberry to the Acme, and that's what's caused a lot of inconvenience and a lot of money to fix, because it's a big major road, requires equipment, specialized equipment that we don't have currently, that in future consideration, we would do well to try and provide for them. Beyond that, just a couple of thoughts that I had from tonight. Don't know who to say them to, so I'll pass them out here and deliver them to where they may go. It sounds expensive to try and turn Christopher Street into a green acre thing, because if we have to buy parcels, it involves the word buy. Buy is usually done with money. Maybe if we just empower the environmental committee to really bolster up that steep slope statute that they have that blocked what was trying to be built last time, maybe we could get some future protection out of it or bolster it up. And it would seem just to be an economical way, not really my area of expertise. Just thinking out loud. The last thing was pursuant to the idea of smelling cannabis, which if we could talk to Target, Walmart, every time I'm walking my dog and a car has an open window, but maybe this is the wrong way to look at it, but it's a good way of looking at it. If anybody's got any type of legal time they didn't know about. Yeah. If you can't have an open beer in public, right, an open container, is there, I don't know if that falls under a decency or how that works or what the concept is, but cannabis in public, even though it's legal, such as alcohol, yet you can't walk around with an open container. I just wonder if there's some way that we could, as a town, kind of work that just to kind of go like, just go over there.
I don't think there is the ability to consume cannabis in public.
Microphone, please.
I think there already are regulations for that, Mr. Manco. I think what was discussed earlier tonight was someone consuming on their own property. There's an ability to consume it in private,
right,
not in public.
Well, so if I'm, I guess, and I get it, but if I'm in my front yard, sitting at the edge of my yard by a sidewalk, and I have open containers, is that still considered public or private in a front yard?
You can drink beer on your property.
Microphone.
You can drink beer on your property to your heart's content.
Gotcha.
Right to the edge of the.
I guess you can't force them to take the marijuana inside, is kind of what but yeah. But just a thought. Thank you. That was it.
Anybody else want to go? Sure.
John?
I'd just like to clarify Mr. Manco's comment on Green Acres. That's public funds that doesn't cost the taxpayer anything, and there are other grants we could get, so it probably wouldn't cost the taxpayers almost nothing. So you have to clarify that. I'd also like to thank the mayor for his proclamation of Heart Disease being that this has affected my life so personally, that both my father and my wife passed away from heart disease. But I'd also like to say how we should make a proclamation for one of the members of the mussel mill last year, saved who was a nurse who worked 25 hours and who saved another member of the, who was a woman, by the way, on the treadmill from heart attack. And I think we should make a proclamation to that. I'm not sure all the names on there. I believe Councilman Poznanski knows, and he could speak about that. And I'd also like to say how much we're going to miss Monica. I can't say the words, Monica. I'm just going to miss you intensely because you're just so knowledgeable to your job, and you've always given to this town. And like nobody I've seen who's been here so short. It's like you were here for 20 years. Just like to say we're going to. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
You can give this to Monica.
First, I'd like to say...
We're going to miss you, Monica, and if there's anything we could ever do to get you back, I'll do it.
I had something prepared to read about Monica, but then I believe you're still going to be here to help at meeting nights, because if not, I'll read it.
I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't heard anything. I have offered if the need is for a part-time, I have made the offer to do that until, so that everybody's not left hanging, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Would you like me to read to you then?
Sure.
Okay. I'd like to say thank you and farewell to an employee that was here but a short while, yet left an indelible mark, not easily replaced. Our clerk, Monica Orlando, who brought organization, professionalism, and a steadiness to a chaotic situation, is moving on. She embodies strength, resilience, and a will to persevere under difficult circumstances. Employees, residents, and elected officials alike appreciated her help and thoughtfulness. She leaves a void in many ways that will not easily be replaced. I hope from here on out that you are respected by all whom you interact with and keep your dignity intact. We'll miss you. We will move on, but please remember us with a smile. And thank you.
Thank you.
I have some other things that I'd like to talk about. One is Heart Health Month. John brought this up, but I had it detailed. I'd like to bring up an incident being that it is Heart Month. Last year, a miracle was performed at the Muscle Mill Gym that John and I are both members. And I'll explain. A friend, her name is Fran Zatz, suffered major heart attack and a cardiac arrest. The manager at the gym, her name is Melissa Lazark, who happens to be a nurse, jumped into action, and she worked on the afflicted woman, bringing back a beating heart. Her heart had stopped for minutes. She saved her life, and God was working through her hands. I tried to reserve a proclamation for her last year, and I was not successful. I appreciate that we are honoring heart health. However, I want to honor a true miracle of the heart and the saving of a human life by another human with the help and will of God. I'd like to have a roll call vote, if it's possible, for a proclamation honoring Melissa Lazark for our next council meeting.
Gary, we don't need a vote. If you just email me the information, I'll make sure to put it together before
Okay.
the 18th.
Okay, I have the information.
Gary, real quick, I believe there was a police officer too that was involved as well.
He was there. He was a help.
Yeah.
But, and I don't mean but as if he didn't help, but that woman saved her
I
life.
believe they both did. If you were going to do one,
Sure.
I would
Well, I
recommend
could
doing
put
both.
him in also.
Yeah, just email me the information.
sure.
I'll type
Sure.
up the proclamation.
I'd like to bring up also, we've been having multiple issues with our televised council meetings, preventing transparency to our residents at times. I've had residents who had watched the meetings faithfully tell me they no longer try to watch, as there's been so much inconsistency. And I had a meeting with a business administrator and a borough clerk in Middlesex to discuss the successful system that they use and to see if it's possible to bring that to Milltown. If the council is interested, I have details of the camera type, placement, function, and the vendor that I will supply. although we do not have to televise our meetings, we fund the system we use, and we don't want to lose any more viewership. And that concludes. Thank you.
Nope, we have an executive session to go into soon, so.
I've going to close council comments. I have no comments. Will the clerk please read Resolution 2025-111?
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, whereas the governing body wishes to discuss personnel and attorney-client privilege, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the public be excluded from this meeting. We need a motion and a second.
May we have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
A motion made by Councilman Collins, seconded by Councilman Potter. All in
Council
favor?
President Zambrana?
Aye.
Councilman Collins?
Aye.
Councilman Manco?
Aye.
Councilwoman Payne?
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski?
Aye.
Councilman Potter?
Aye.
Okay. We stand here.
All right, we're closing this portion to the public.
5 minutes?